Hi, let's quickly clear out the agenda and the expectation from this video. So today in this video we would be learning about SDLC, which is software development life cycle, and then we would be learning about object oriented analysis and design. Then we would be dividing it into two parts, that is object oriented analysis and object oriented design. That is basically like why do we need low level design, so called UML, in the first place. What is basically low level design? Fair enough. Let's move forward to the very first agenda, that is software development life cycle. Software development life cycle basically illustrates the way a software is planned to way a software is executed. So here comes the very first step, that is we analyze what is the need of the hour. Then we design a prototype kind of thing. Then we turn that prototype into a real world object. Then we test that real world object if it is fit enough as per the expectation. Then a verification or the sanitation is done, like if the implementation is good enough or not, if the code is working as expected or not, whatever was there in the analysis, whatever was the requirement, fits enough with whatever is made after testing, is the final verification process, and then we do the deployment. So basically now the question is, what is basically low level design and what are the different aspects that low level design covers? So as you have seen, that software development lifecycle consists of these all components, and low level design caters these three components specifically. The testing, verification and the deployment are not low level. Okay, so analysis, design and development. Okay, this is what is known as low level. We don't talk about the so-called deployment or high level things, but we talk about the small basic implementation, the way different objects would be laid out, the way different objects would be there in relation. Okay, we take use of hierarchy, we take use of different 4 pillars of object oriented programming. We do the basic implementation of it. Okay, the base of that. Okay, now what is basically what is basically object oriented analysis and design? Okay, so object oriented analysis and design in total is observing the system, is all about observing the system. That is basically taking down what is needed and then determining the objects, like laying out whatever is the requirement. So let's say I would give you a very brief example. So let's say I like observing the system means someone told me that I want to build a cafe of my own. Okay, so as of now I would have food items. Okay, the food items as of now would be just coffee and cake. Okay, so it is our responsibility that we kind of make this cake and the eatables. Okay, like there is on top of eatables object, and then it would inherit different types of eatables, that is different types of cakes, that is different types of cakes, different types of biscuits. So if you observe, this is very extensible. Tomorrow if let's say there are different types of cakes that are there, fruit cake, okay, let's say there is a fruit cake, let's say there is a jelly cake, so this becomes extensible. Let's say tomorrow there are a lot of biscuits out there, and this coffee is taken down into beverage. Okay, and then alcoholic beverage, non-alcoholic beverage, on top of non-alcoholic beverage we have something. So this responsibility of observing the system was what? Observing the system was telling me that I want to build a cafe. As of now I would give foods like coffee and cake. But this is determining the objects. Like, yes, we can't really have coffee and cake object and implement the whole system. This is not low level design. Okay, this is object oriented implementation. But low level and efficient low level design says that we should have a very extensible code. Like today, if we are building out cake and coffee, then tomorrow, let's say we are expanding on biscuits, we are expanding on alcoholic beverage, non-alcoholic beverage, we are expanding on tea also, coffee also, mojito, and what not. So our code should be very extensible, and this is determining the object. And then after we have determined the object, then I told you, cake and biscuits would inherit from eatables. This relationship, and the cake, different types of cakes would be there. So yes, determining the objects was these all things, that yes, these all objects should be existing. But these all, what should inherit what should relate what there are different types of relationship, what are the different types of relationship we want. These all are what is known as establishing a relationship between the objects. Then we model and build a design. What do you mean by model at this point? This modeling is just like whatever you thought of. See, I made a very rough design here. So if I take up this design and explain it to all my co-workers and my stakeholders, then it might be the scenario that the diagram that they have in their mind, they are not able to comprehend it. So we have a standard way to comprehend these diagrams, that is UML. So we model whatever we have thought as objects and establishing relationship in the form of something known as UML, that is Unified Modeling Language. Model and then build up the design is nothing but now when everyone stakeholders, now we have hold multiple discussion, now we know that at what point and at each step what are the different design patterns we would be using, which implementation would be in which term, then we build the design, that is basically implement that design. So this was object oriented analysis and design. So if you take out the object oriented analysis, it would be observing the system, determining the objects, okay, and somewhat establishing relationships too. But when we talk about object oriented design, it deals with modeling of data and building up the design. Okay, so this was all about software development life cycle. What part of it is low level design and what is object oriented analysis and design.